in the hallowed halls of justice, where every word can tip the scales. We often expect a meticulous, almost predictable dance between prosecution and defense. But every now and then, a moment shatters that decorum, a moment so stunning it leaves the entire courtroom breathless. Today, we're diving into one of those moments of trial where a judge didn't just preside, but intervened in a way no one saw coming, completely overruling the defense and changing the course of the case forever. This wasn't just any trial. The stakes were sky high. On one side, a powerful corporation with an army of high-priced lawyers. On the other, a small group of plaintiffs fighting for what they believed was right. The air in the courtroom was thick with tension from day one. The defense team was known for its aggressive, no-holds-barred tactics. They were masters of procedure, skilled at burying the opposition in mountains of paperwork and objections, grinding the wheels of justice to a near halt. Their strategy was clear: delay, deflect, and dominate. For weeks, they had been successfully chipping away at the plaintiff's case. They objected to nearly every piece of evidence, challenged every witness's credibility, and filed motion after motion. It was a classic death-by-a-thousand-cut strategy, and frankly, it seemed to be working. The plaintiff's legal team looked weary, the jury appeared confused, and a palpable sense of frustration was building. The lead defense attorney, a charismatic but notoriously ruthless litigator, seemed to relish the control he exerted over the proceedings. The pivotal moment came during the cross-examination of a key witness for the plaintiffs. This witness was crucial. Their testimony was the bedrock of the entire case. As the witness took the stand, you could feel the defense attorney practically licking his lips, ready to dismantle their story piece by piece. He began his questioning not with a direct challenge, but with a series of seemingly innocuous questions about the witness's past, their personal life, and their career history details that appeared completely irrelevant to the case at hand. The plaintiff's lawyer stood up to object. "Objection, Your Honor. Relevance." The judge, a seasoned veteran of the bench known for her calm and measured demeanor, simply said, "Overruled. I'll allow some latitude, counsel." "Let's see where this is going." The defense attorney smirked and continued his line of questioning, digging deeper and deeper into the witness's personal life. "I brought up a minor financial issue from over a decade ago, long-settled dispute with a former business partner, anything he could find to paint the witness as untrustworthy. The tactic was obvious: character assassination. If he couldn't disprove the facts, he would destroy the credibility of the person presenting them. The plaintiff's lawyer objected again and again. "Relevance, Your Honor," badgering the witness. Argumentative. Each time the judge would calmly overrule, her eyes fixed on the defense attorney, her expression unreadable. The jury was visibly uncomfortable, shifting in their seats. The witness was becoming flustered, their confidence visibly eroding under the relentless personal assault. The defense attorney was building to his crescendo. After an hour of this grueling cross-examination, he paused dramatically, walked back to his table, and picked up a thick binder. He approached the witness stand and said, "Now let's talk about the evening of March 14th, 10 years ago. You claim you were at home, but isn't it true that you were actually?" The defense attorney, caught off guard, stammered, "But, Your Honor, I'm just establishing." The judge cut him off, her voice dropping to a steely, quiet tone that was somehow more intimidating than her shout. You are to disregard the entirety of this cross-examination. All of it. It has no bearing on the facts of this case. It was an improper and unprofessional attempt to manipulate the proceedings, and it will not be tolerated in this courtroom. Then, she turned back to the defense attorney. The silence was deafening. "Counsel, your line of questioning is terminated. You will not ask this witness another question. In fact, you will sit down and you will not speak again until I address you directly." A collective gasp rippled through the gallery.
Us.
This was unheard of. A judge silencing a lawyer in the middle of a cross-examination. It was the legal equivalent of a lightning strike. The defense attorney's face went from pale to beet red. His confidence, his swagger had evaporated. He stood frozen for a moment, then slowly, meekly returned to his seat. He was defeated. The judge hadn't just sustained an objection. She had eviscerated his entire strategy in front of the jury, the public, and his own clients. She had called him out for exactly what he was doing, leaving no room for interpretation. But she wasn't finished. She addressed the entire defense team. Let me be perfectly clear. This court respects vigorous advocacy, does not, however, respect theater and abuse. Any further attempts to subvert the course of justice with such tactics will be met with sanctions, and I will consider holding you in contempt of court. Is that understood? The lead partner of the firm, sitting behind the now silent attorney, simply nodded, his face ashen. The judge then turned to the witness with a look of genuine concern. "Are you all right to continue?" she asked gently. The witness, visibly shaken but also relieved, nodded. The judge then allowed the plaintiff's counsel to conduct a brief redirect, which they used to repair the damage and reaffirm the witness's core testimony. The difference was night and day, without the defense's constant interruptions and personal attacks. The witness's testimony was clear, concise, and powerful. That single moment changed everything. The defense team was neutered. Their primary weapon, aggressive personal attacks, had been taken from them by the highest authority in the room. They were forced to argue the case on its merits, something they were clearly unprepared to do. The spell they had woven over the courtroom was broken. The jury, having seen the defense's tactics exposed so blatantly by the judge, now viewed everything they said with suspicion. The rest of the trial proceeded quickly. The defense's subsequent arguments felt hollow, and their witnesses seemed less credible. The momentum had completely shifted. When the jury finally delivered its verdict, it was a resounding victory for the plaintiffs. They were awarded a settlement that was even larger than they had originally hoped for. In the aftermath, legal analysts debated the judge's actions. Some argued she had overstepped her bounds, that she had improperly influenced the jury by showing her own opinion. They claimed she should have simply sustained the objections and let the trial play out. But many more, including a majority of the legal community, applauded her courage. They argued that a judge's role isn't just to be a passive referee, but to be a guardian of justice. On one side is flagrantly violating the rules and spirit of the law to bully a witness and deceive a jury. A judge has not only the right, but the duty to intervene. She didn't just rule on emotion. She defended the integrity of her courtroom and the very process of law itself. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the most dramatic moments in legal history.